In our today's session, we are going to learn about the internal structure of primary sex organ in male, that is testes. Now, every testes is covered with a dense covering, and it bears the compartments which are 250 in number, which are called testicular lobules, and each lobule is having 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. In the seminiferous tubules, the sperm formation occurs. Now, let us see the broad view of seminiferous tubules. Now, seminiferous tubule is having two type of cells on its inner side. One is the male germ cells, which are called spermatogonia. These spermatogonia undergo the process of meiosis and form the sperm. The second is the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells are basically for providing the nutrition to male germ cells or sperms. Next type of cell that you will see in the transverse section of testes or seminiferous tubule is the interstitial cells. It is also called Leydig cells. These interstitial cells or Leydig cells, they synthesize the male hormone that is known as testosterone, which is also called male androgen, and it is basically responsible for the development of secondary sexual characters in the male. So, this is all about the internal structure of the primary organ of male, that is testes. In our last class, we have already learned about the various glands and the outer structure. Now, let us begin with the next part, that is the female reproductive system. You have already learned this system in your previous class also. So, you are having the idea that the primary sex organ includes the pair of ovaries, and after that is the oviduct or a fallopian tube, which is also in pair. The next part is the uterus, cervix, vagina. So, these are basically the main parts of the female reproductive system. Now, let us learn them one by one. The ovary is basically producing the female gamete, which is ovum, by the process of oogenesis, and it also produces the two female hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. The ovaries are located in the lower abdomen, each on the either side, and they are connected to pelvic wall and uterus by a ligament. Each ovary is covered with a thin epithelium, which has got two parts, the stroma, which is the inner part, and the cortex, which is the outer part. So, basically the ovarian stroma has cortex and medulla. The cortex is outer region and medulla is the inner region. This is for the ovary part. Now, let us see the next part, that is the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is 10 to 12 centimeter long tube, and its main function is to carry the ovum to uterus. When the ovum is released after ovulation, the fallopian tube carries it towards the uterus part. Now, this is the broad view of fallopian tube and its division. The oviduct of fallopian tube is divided into three parts: infundibulum, ampulla, and isthmus. Now, infundibulum, you can see, is having a funnel like structure, and it bears the finger like processes, which are called fimbriae. These basically fimbriae helps in collection of ovum after ovulation. Now, next part is the ampulla, which is in continuation with infundibulum, and it is the wider part. Next is the isthmus. This is the last part with the narrow lumen, and it finally joined to the uterus part. Now, note it down very carefully that fertilization occur in fallopian tube, you have learned in your 10th standard, but here now we are going to learn the exact location of the fallopian tube where the fertilization occurs. So fertilization occur at ampullary isthmic junction, that is the point where ampulla and isthmus are joining together. The fertilization occur in that part of fallopian tube or oviduct. Now next part is the uterus. It is also known as womb. It is inverted pear-like structure and it is basically supporting the implantation and gestation. Now the wall of uterus has 3 layers inside it: perimetrium, myometrium and endometrium. The perimetrium is the external thin membranous layer. Myometrium is the middle layer which is having the smooth muscles, and these smooth muscles help in parturition, that is the birth of a child or delivery of the child. The endometrium is the inner glandular layer, and this inner glandular layer undergo the menstrual flow or the cyclic changes every month. You can see the uterine cavity here with all the 3 types of layer. The perimetrium is also termed as serosa. Then you can see the middle layer which is myometrium and the endometrium. Now the uterus opens into vagina through narrow cervix. So the uterus mouth is basically known as cervix, and the cavity of cervix is called cervical canal, from where the childbirth occurs, that is the birth canal. This is the complete structure of our female reproductive system. Besides that, there are external genitalia also which are carrying the gamete to outside. That includes mons pubis, labium majora, labium minora, hymen and clitoris. These are the external parts that are in contact with the environment. So that's all for the day. In our next lecture, we are going to learn about the process of gamete formation in male and process of gamete formation in female.